in today's session, we will talk about the next topic which comes in molecular basis of inheritance, that is genetic code. So, it is 6.6 in NCERT textbook. It is genetic code. This is our today's topic, right? Now, what is genetic code? Replication, the three main steps, central dogma molecular biology. First one is replication, making DNA, copying the DNA is replication. The second one is transcription. From DNA, making RNA is called transcription. So, both replication and transcription, both are nucleic acids. DNA to DNA is called autocatalysis, DNA to RNA is called heterocatalysis. So, but then from one nucleic acid, you are making another nucleic acid. So, the process is similar. From the same basis, you are making their complementary basis, isn't it? And it's easy to conceptualize also. So, we can see that, okay, if A is there, T will come if it is DNA. If A is there, U will come. If G is there, C will come in DNA and RNA. So, it's easy to conceptualize also, basing on the complementarity, basing on the base complementarity. But when you come to the third step, what is that third step? Translation, which is called protein synthesis. Now, what is translation? Translation is called protein synthesis. What is protein? Protein is a polymer of amino acids. Now, amino acid, what is amino acid? Amino acid is a building block. Now, that means these are bases and here it is amino acid. That means there is no relevance, right? So, you cannot draw any, what we tell, there is no complementarity existing between the nucleotides and the amino acids. Nor we can draw any theoretical conclusion like, okay, this base, this amino acid, this base, this amino acid, we cannot draw. So, that is why we tell like it's a complicated process. Translation is a complicated process. We cannot conceptualize also, we cannot draw any conclusion also from this, theoretically we cannot draw. So, then who are the scientists who worked out the code and who told that this is the code which is going for this amino acid, right? How many codes are there, how many amino acids are there, all that, it's a collaborative effort of many scientists to help us in deciphering the genetic code. Understood? So, when we start the topic, we can tell that during replication and transcription, nucleic acids are copied from another nucleic acids, isn't it? During replication also and transcription also. During replication and transcription. So, one nucleic acid is copied from, one nucleic acid is copied from another nucleic acid, right? One nucleic acid is copied from another nucleic acid. So, then there is no, it's easy for us to conceptualize. Hence, it is easy to conceptualize on the basis of complementarity. On the basis of the base complementarity, we can tell. On the basis of base complementarity, we can tell. If DNA is having these many bases, RNA will have this base, we can tell. But the process of translation requires the transfer of genetic information from nucleotide to amino acid, right? But the process of translation, what is translation? Protein synthesis, requires the transfer of genetic information, requires the transfer of genetic information from polymer of nucleotides to polymers of amino acids. Here from one nucleotide, complementary base nucleotide will come, whether it's replication or transcription. But in translation, we are telling the information which is present in terms of nucleotides should be converted into the amino acid information. So then there doesn't exist any complementarity also, nor we can draw. So neither there exists any complementarity like base complementarity, neither there exists any base complementarity between what? Between nucleotides and amino acids, nor could we draw, nor we could draw theoretically. We cannot draw anything theoretically also, nor there is any complementarity between the nucleotides and amino acids also. So then it is difficult to decode it. Okay. Now then, but then we know that there are ample evidences to support that any change in the nucleotide, any mutation in the nucleotide is responsible for the change in the protein. That means we know that this is coding for this only, but we are unable to prove it, right? So we can tell that there are ample evidences, to prove that any change in nucleotide sequence will cause change in amino acid. Any change in nucleic acid will cause change in amino acid also, in turn will cause change in protein also. So mutation experiments will tell this. So we know that, but we are able to establish the connections. The connections were established only with the genetic code. The connections were established only with the genetic code. So what are the biochemical alphabets? The alphabets of DNA I am asking. So what are the biochemical alphabets? The biochemical alphabets are adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. Okay. The biochemical alphabets are adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine if it is DNA, or it will be adenine, guanine, uracil and cytosine if it is RNA. So these are the biochemical alphabets. So from these alphabets we cannot derive any code, we cannot derive any conclusion. That means the alphabet information which is present on the DNA and RNA is a coded language. So information present on nucleic acid is a coded language. Then the information which is present on the DNA and RNA, the nucleic acid is a coded language. Then we have to decode it in terms of nucleic acids. So we have to decode it. We have to decode it in terms of amino acids. In terms of amino acids. Now this decoding concept itself is called as genetic code. Now anything which is in the coded language, and if you are decoding it, deciphering the genetic code, it is called cryptography. Anything, a letter which is written in a coded language, what is it called? Cryptography. Cryptography means anything which is in the coded form. That means the information which is on the nucleic acid also is in the coded form. The information which is in the nucleic acid is also in the coded form. Then who decoded it? I told you it's a collaborative effort of so many scientists who have decoded. George Gamow is there, Hargobind Khurana is there, Severo Ocavo is there, Marshall Nirenberg is there, Crick is also there. So many scientists, Mathai, so many scientists are there who helped in deciphering the genetic code, in decoding the genetic code from nucleotides to amino acids. So this is introduction. Let's go once again. So our topic is 6.6 genetic code. We are telling that in replication, DNA to DNA, transcription, DNA to RNA, from one nucleic acid we are making another nucleic acid. So it is easy for us to conceptualize, because we know if purine is there, pyrimidine will come. If pyrimidine is there, purine will come. On the basis of complementarity we can conceptualize the concept. But if you come to the process of translation, protein synthesis, you are going to transfer the genetic information which is present in nucleotides into amino acids. We need to copy the information from which is present on the nucleotides to amino acids. That means you cannot derive any complementarity. this nucleotide means this amino acid will come. We cannot derive any conclusions, nor we can draw it theoretically also. But then we know that we have ample evidences by mutation studies that any change in one base will change an amino acid, will change a protein sequence, right? So then we thought like we have to decipher the genetic code. Now the biochemical alphabets, what are biochemical alphabets which make up the nucleic acids? Adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine if it is DNA. Adenine, guanine, uracil and cytosine if it is RNA. The information which is present in DNA and RNA in these coded languages, it's a coded language, so we have to decode it. So what is cryptography? It's a process of coded language where we decipher it. Now who are the scientists who deciphered the genetic code? Hargobind Khurana, I told, Severo Ocavo, Marshall Nirenberg, Gamow, all these scientists. If you want to take the screenshot, yeah, you can. Then we will go into the contributions made by the scientists. Right. So now if we start with the first and foremost scientist, his name is George Gamow. He is not a geneticist, he is not a biochemist also. He is a physicist, right? He is a physics lecturer, physics professor. So they will be very good at calculations, right? Now that scientist, so he boldly made a statement. He argued with the people. He told that we know that there are 20 proteinaceous amino acids which should be coded by 4 biochemical alphabets like A, T, G, C or A, G, U, C. Now, he is a person who came out and he told that the code is triplet. He boldly told the code is triplet because he worked out the proportions and then this is the minimum thing he told. What is the name of the scientist? George Gamow. Now, who is this scientist? He is a physicist. Now he told that, what statement he told? He argued and he told that the code is triplet. The code is on the DNA and the code is copied by the RNA, and that information he told code is triplet. That means he told that 4 biochemical alphabets, 4 biochemical alphabets if they have to code for 20 amino acids, if they have to code for 20 amino acids. So he told if the code is unilet, if the code is unilet, then what happens? That means one base will code for 1 amino acids, means 4 bases are only there. What are the 4 bases? Adenine, guanine, uracil, cytosine, purines and pyrimidines. That means 4 bases can just code for 4 amino acids out of 20, and then he told that 16 amino acids are left out. 16 amino acids are left out. Then he told the code cannot be unilet. Code cannot be unilet. Then he went to the next combination. He told if the code is doublet, if the code is doublet, then 4 power 2. These 4 power 2 combinations if you make, then it is 4 into 4. You will get 16 codons. The information which is present on the RNA is called codon. Then you will get 16 codons. Then 16 codons will code for 16 amino acids. Then also 4 amino acids are left out, are still there, because we know there are 20 amino acids. Even if code is doublet also, 4 power 4, 4 power 2, 4 into 4, 16. 16 amino acids will be counted, 4 amino acids still are there. Then he told, yeah, then this is also not possible. This is also not possible. Then if code is triplet, that means 4 power 3. That means 4 into 4 into 4. 4 4s are 16, 16 4s are 64. Then you will get a combination of 64 codons. You will get a combination of 64 codons. Now these 64 codons, you know, they can easily code for 20 amino acids. So 64 codons can code for 20 amino acids. Again, in this 3 stop are there. If you remove that, 61 codons will be there. 3 stop codons minus them, 61 codons. 61 codons will code for 20 amino acids. Since it is not unilet, it is not doublet, so then the minimum possibility is code is triplet. Then he boldly made a statement that code is triplet. So he boldly made a statement that code is triplet. He boldly told that code is triplet. Now it is a daunting task for all the scientists to prove that code is tripleta. It is not a tripleta. He just told and he came out. Then the scientists have to prove it is right or they have to prove it is wrong. Then it became a daunting task for all the scientists. Then who started working first? Indian born scientist Hargobind Khorana. First scientist is the first scientist, Indian born scientist Hargobind Khorana. Hargobind Khorana is able to prepare homopolymers and copolymers of nucleotides. What did he prepare? He prepared homopolymers of nucleotides. He also prepared copolymers. He also prepared copolymers of nucleotides. Now, what are homopolymers and what are copolymers? Means he prepared a nucleotide which is having all A's, that is a homopolymer of A. He prepared another nucleotide which is of all G's. He prepared another one which is of all U's, another one which is of all C's. Then when he prepared a homopolymer which is made up of all U's, then he got a protein which is made up of polyphenylalanine. So this is phenylalanine, another phenylalanine, another phenylalanine, and then another phenylalanine. Then he got a protein because U will code for phenylalanine. So when he prepared a homopolymer of all U's, he got a protein which is made up of many phenylalanines. He got a protein which is made up of many phenylalanines. That can tell like U codes for phenylalanine. This is one homopolymer. Now, if we have to work out the other homopolymer, right? So let us see if he has prepared a poly G sequence, homopolymer of all C's. Then, so you know C will code for which amino acid? So C will code for proline. Then he got a protein which is made up of polyprolines. After this, I'll draw the genetic table code and I'll tell you how we can easily memorize all the 20 amino acids with their respective codes. I will tell you, no need to worry. So when he prepared a homopolymer of all U's, he got a protein which is of all phenylalanines. When he prepared another homopolymer of all C's, then he got a protein which is of all prolines. Again, left out with A, right? When he prepared a homopolymer of all A's, then he got a protein which is of polylysine. AAA will code for lysine. Then he got a polymer of all lysines. So U, C, A got over. The last one is G. When he prepared a polymer of all G's, then he got a protein which is having all glycines. So this is what he has done. What is it called? Homopolymers. And then he predicted that okay, U's will code for phenylalanine, poly C's will code for proline, poly A's will code for lysine, poly G's will code for glycine. This is called homopolymers. Now what are copolymers? Copolymers means you have to go with UC. Let's go with UC. We'll go with AG and we will see. That's called copolymer. Now if you go with UC, like that you are going means it's a copolymer. Then you need to split it. UCU1, CUC1, UCU1, CUC1. So like that you get. Now UCU codes for which amino acid we need to know, and CUC codes for which amino acid. UCU codes for serine and CUC codes for threonine. Again UCU codes for serine, again this codes for threonine. So when he has taken a copolymer, When he has taken a copolymer of U and C, U and C, U and C, then you will get a codon of UCU and then you will get a codon of CUC. Okay, it is leucine. I'm sorry. This is leucine and yeah, CUC codes for leucine. So he got a protein which is made up of alternating units of serine, leucine he got. Then next, if you go with A and G, let us see. If we take A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A. Like that, if you prepare another copolymer, AGA codes for which amino acid, GAG codes for which amino acid, AGA codes for which amino acid, GAG codes for which amino acid, we should know. AGA codes for arginine, GAG codes for glutamic acid. AGA codes for an amino acid called arginine, GAG codes for glutamic acid. Again, AGA codes for arginine, GAG codes for glutamic acid. So like that, this is again a copolymer. When he has taken a copolymer, he got a sequence with alternate units of arginine, glutamic acid, like that he got. Understood? So this is what Hargobind Khurana has done to decipher the genetic code. He is the first person to work out. He worked out with homopolymers and copolymers. Homopolymers means a polymer of all U's, a polymer of all C's, a polymer of all A's, a polymer of all G's. Then when he took polymer of U's, he got a protein which is a polyphenylalanin. When he took a homopolymer of C's, he got proline. When he took homopolymer of A's, he got lysine. When he took homopolymer of G's, he got glycine. Then when he came to copolymers, he took the combination of UC, UC. Then it will be UCU, CUC, because code is having three bases. So this is one coding for serine, this is the other one coding for leucine, UCU, again serine, again leucine, like that we got. So in this manner, out of 64 codons, he helped to decipher in this manner. Then what are the other scientists, what they have contributed? The second scientist is Marshall Nirenberg. If you want to take a screenshot, take the screenshot so we can move on to the next topic. Here we talked about the first scientist, George Gamow. What did he tell? He boldly told code is triplet. He made a statement, George Gamow made a statement that code is triplet. It became a daunting task for the scientists to establish the relations. Then came the first scientist, Hargobind Khurana. He prepared homopolymers and he prepared copolymers. So these are homopolymers and these are copolymers. So if you want to take a screenshot, yeah, you can take. Yes. Now we'll discuss about the remaining scientists also. Their names are Marshall Nirenberg and Severo Ochoa. Now what they have done? Hargobind Khurana synthesized homopolymers and copolymers. Then second scientist, Marshall Nirenberg. Right. Now Marshall Nirenberg, what did he do? So he prepared protein in a cell-free system. He did protein synthesis inside the test tube. That's called cell-free system of protein synthesis. Marshall Nirenberg's cell-free system of protein synthesis. He did it outside in a lab, in vitro. So further helped the genetic code to be deciphered. Further help the code to be deciphered, right? Hargobind Khurana, copolymers and homopolymers helped to decipher the genetic code. The leftover things were completed by him. He prepared protein synthesis in a cell-free system which further helped to decipher the genetic code. And the third scientist is Severo Ochoa. He prepared an enzyme. What is the enzyme called? Polynucleotide phosphorylase enzyme. Severo Ochoa's enzyme, what is it? Polynucleotide phosphorylase enzyme. Severo Ochoa's polynucleotide phosphorylase enzyme helped in enzymatic synthesis of RNA. So this enzyme helped in synthesizing RNA enzymatically. Helped in enzymatic synthesis of RNA in a template independent manner. So whatever I'm writing on the board, if you are taking, so my board is a template and you're copying it. But if you are making your own thing, then that's called template independent manner. So Severo Okawo, what did he do? He used polynucleotide phosphorylase enzyme. So, and he prepared an RNA in a template independent manner. Whatever combination he want, he could make it. So enzymatic synthesis of RNA in which manner? In template independent manner. He prepared RNA in a template independent manner. Children, this point has been asked in the NEET previous paper. This point have been asked in the NEET previous paper. Okawo's enzyme, what it is? Polynucleotide phosphorylase. What did it work on? It worked on preparing RNA in a template independent manner. So now the works of Hargobind Khorana, then Crick, Nirenberg, all these people's works have helped us to decipher the genetic codes in mid 1960s. Now, who and all contributed? Crick also contributed. Gamow also contributed. Hargobind Khorana also contributed. Right? Now, here we are. Nirenberg also contributed. Then Severo Okawo also contributed. Then we can tell Metai, one scientist name is there. Metai also contributed. Now all these people finally help to decipher the genetic code. They help to decipher the genetic code. When in mid 1960s. Now for deciphering the genetic code, Hargobind Khorana got Nobel Prize. He shared that Nobel Prize with Nirenberg and Robert Holley in the year 1968. So who got the Nobel Prize? Already Crick got the Nobel Prize. So then they gave the Nobel Prize to Hargobind Khorana. Nirenberg also shared, and Robert Holley. These three people shared the Nobel Prize in the year 1968. They shared the Nobel Prize in the 1968 for deciphering the genetic code. So the genetic code, what we are going to see now on the board, is the contribution or the collaborative effect of all these scientists. Who are they? Crick, Gamow, Hargobind Khorana, Marshall Nirenberg, Severo Okawo, and Metai. All these scientists helped to decipher the genetic code. For that, Khorana, Nirenberg and Holley were chosen to give the Nobel Prize in the year 1968. Now let us see the genetic code table and see all the codes. Then we will look into the characteristics of genetic code. If you want to take a screenshot, yeah. Now, if we have to talk about the genetic code now we'll draw the genetic code. Okay. So for the genetic code, we need to remember the order U, C, A, G. Okay. So we have to remember the order U, C, A, G. Okay. So we know code is triplet. The first base, we will write it here. What is the first base? It is UCAG. The first base is U, C, A and G. Second base, we will write it horizontally. This is the second base. We will write it here. U, C, A, G. Third base, we will write it here. So our third base is again UCAG. Right. So this goes with the first base, second base, third base and fourth base. And here again we need to write the third base as U, C, A, G. U, C, A, G. U, C, A, G. U, C, A, G. Children, I draw the backbone here. We know code is triplet. Write the first base towards your left. second base horizontally, third base towards your right. So then you will get 16 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 squares we will get. Now we will write down the code. Now see how we will work out with the code. So the first base is U. Second base is also U. The third base there is also U. Now second one U, C there means U, C. Third base, third codon U, A. So U, A. First base is U, second base is U, the third base is G. So U, G. Now work out here. First base is C, second base is U, third base is U. Now again, first base is C, second base is U, the third base is C. Now again, the first base is C, second base is U, the third base is A. Again, the first base is C, the second base is U, the third base is G. Now here if you go A, U, U, A, U, right? So A, U, C, A, U, A, U, G. Now last one G, U, G, U, U, G, U, C, G, U, A, G, U, G. You need to fill the remaining also. Quickly I'll try to do. I'm just writing C first. Then we know anyway we have to remember UCAG. I'm just filling UCAG. Then AC. First letter A, second letter C. AC, 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 AC. Third letter is UCAG. UCAG. Now here G and C. So G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C. Here it is U, C, A, G. Coming to the third line, first alphabet is A, second alphabet is U, A. U, A, U, A, U, A, U, A. Then the third alphabet will be UCAG. UCAG. Now C, A. C, A, C, A, C, A, C, A. Then write down U, C, A, G. Then A it is. A. Then U, C, A, G. The last one is G, A. G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A, U, C, A, G. Here it is U, G. So U, G, U, G, U, G, U, G, U, C, A, G. Then C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G, C, G. Then U, C, A, G. Then next A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, U, C, A, G. The last one will be G, 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 G and G, G, U, C, A, G. 16 squares, in each square 4. So then total you will get 64. Total you will get 64. So in these 64 codons, how we need to code, which codon codes for which amino acid, how to remember it, let us see. Okay, line by line we will remember, right? So in this, you know, there is a start codon, there are stop codons. The start codon is AUG. It's here, silently it is here. What is this? It is a start codon which codes for an amino acid called methionine. This is a start codon which codes for an amino acid called methionine. There are 3 stop codons. One is UAA, other one is UAG, the third one is UGA. So these 2 are stop. With this is also stop. Out of 64, we did 4. 60 are left out. Now let's go. First line, I'll tell you an order how to remember. Just go with me. phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. In first row, how are we remembering? Phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. Repeat. Phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine and valine. Here we go. These two for the first amino acid, phenylalanine. Altogether 6 for the next amino acid, leucine. These 3 for isoleucine. The next 4 for, I told you, phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. So this is for valine. So your first line should go with phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. Phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. The second line should go with serine, proline, threonine, alanine. Repeat. Serine, proline, threonine, alanine. So let's go. So the first square, these 4 will code for serine. These 4 will code for serine, proline. Next 4 for threonine. Next 4 for alanine. Serine, proline, threonine, alanine. Serine, proline, threonine, alanine. Serine is coded by 4 codons, proline is coded by 4 codons, threonine by 4 codons, alanine by 4 codons. Now, phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine here, serine, proline, threonine, alanine here. Now, coming to the third line, we need to go with 2 codons, right? So, there are 3 aromatic amino acids, phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. So, what are the 3 aromatic amino acids? The 3 aromatic amino acids are phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. Phenylalanine came here. Tyrosine, tryptophan are pending. So, then tyrosine will come here. Tryptophan will go here. So, phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan, 3 aromatic amino acids. We finished. Now, we have to talk about the basic amino acids called histidine, arginine and lysine. So, I told 2 we have to go. So, these 2 go with the basic amino acid called histidine. Okay. First 2 basic amino acids, histidine. Then, after that, there are 2 acidic amino acid derivatives, glutamine and asparagine. There are 2 acidic amino acid derivatives, glutamine and asparagine. These 2 are for glutamine. These 2 are for asparagine, ASN. These 2 are for asparagine, GLN, ASN. Then bring the next basic amino acid. So, histidine, it will be lysine. Okay. Then next 2 are acidic amino acids. The acidic amino acids are, one is aspartic acid, the other one is glutamic acid. One is aspartic acid, next one is glutamic acid. Now, the third line we are going with the second aromatic amino acid, tyrosine. Stop, we already wrote it. Then after that we went with a basic amino acid called histidine. After that we came to the acidic amino acid derivatives called glutamine and asparagine. Glutamine and asparagine. Then we came to the next basic amino acid called lysine. Then we came to the acidic amino acids names called aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Third line got over. Tyrosine, stop. Histidine, glutamine, asparagine, then lysine, then glutamic acid, aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Fourth line, there are sulfur containing amino acids. One is methionine, other one is cysteine. So, this is occupied by the sulfur containing amino acid cysteine. And with basic will come. All these 4 will go with the third basic amino acid called arginine. Actually, serine, it is telling like 4 are not enough, I want 2 more. So, with these 4, serine will come once again here. Okay, then arginine is telling if serine wants, I also want 6, then arginine is going to occupy once again these 2. The last square is occupied by the simplest amino acid, glycine. So, what they have given here is a 3-letter representation of all the 20 amino acids. The fourth line goes with sulfur containing amino acid, cysteine, then stop codon, then the third aromatic amino acid, phenylalanine here, tyrosine here, the third aromatic amino acid, tryptophan here. Then arginine with basic came, here also with basic came C, we can match it with basic came, with basic came. Serine told I want 2 more, it occupied here. The last amino acid is the simplest amino acid, glycine. It is the simplest amino acid, glycine. Hope you understood the genetic code table in detail. So, in this manner you can remember In the next class, we'll work out some questions on the genetic code table. See, how to remember? I told you have to remember the code UCAG, 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 UCAG. Then draw all the 16, draw the backbone. After that, go line by line. First line I told phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine. Second line I told serine, proline, threonine, alanine. Third line I told go with 2 each. Go with tyrosine, then stop, then histidine, then glutamine, then asparagine, then lysine, then aspartic acid, glutamic acid. Last line children, sulfur containing amino acid cysteine, stop, aromatic amino acid, the third aromatic amino acid tryptophan with basic, next basic is arginine, serine came once again, arginine came once again, then it is glycine. This is our genetic code table. In the next session, we will talk about the characteristics of genetic code. If you like the content, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.